Pleasure to give you a few words of summary, but resolute that we're going to stop at 5 o'clock because our hosts require that. So a few messages of the day. I represent the Electronics Knowledge Transfer Network, the privilege to be on the board of that network. I want to tell you that we think high-frequency electronics is very important economically in the country. It's a strategic matter. There's a few reasons for that that are worth mentioning. It's really a science value in electronics. Electronics has become so very commoditized, it's so familiar, so cheap, that a lot of the intrinsic science, the deep underlying science, tends to get forgotten. And that gives us, in the industry, gives an image problem for electronics. And by connecting electronics to the physics domain through subjects like terahertz, that's a strategic thing to do, and the EKTN recognizes that. It's absolutely the opposite end of the scale from commodity electronics. I'm sure you recognize that today, seeing the depth, the physical depth that's in the subject, and helps to balance that damage of commoditization. Well, motivations. There is definitely a market ambiguity here, and exploring that's a motivation for having the conference, I think. Last year's market was reported as $12 to $33 million, growing to 400 to 521 in 10 years. Now, that's pretty amazing variance, and what certainty can we have? It's clear that when you go to the out years, the market is seen as something that could be absolutely enormous, but factored down by the probability that it may never happen. And that has to be an opportunity for investment in an age, at a time when it's difficult to make an argument for investment at all. So that must be a motivation for having a conference like this, that it could be a breakthrough technology that creates an enormous market. It means there's a step change in market perception possible, and in not many technology areas do we see that. It's really time for innovation in the subject area. We know that there are three ingredients to that innovation: knowledge, which is what EKTN is all about; the artisanship, or the transfer of knowledge, the turning it into craft, making it technology; and then commerce, an environment where risk takers gain a reward. And if ever there was a good environment for risk takers, we sure have it at the moment. We surveyed the scene. We benefited enormously from the Terra Nova sponsorship. That was terrific, bringing in the international dimension, improved the quality of the conference tremendously. I must say, I compare this with one conference that I habitually visit in the States, which is the Sura conference in June in Washington, and I have to say the quality here, the horizon which we covered was much better, and I really felt very pleased about that. A lot of good references. The international dimension was terrific. And it did survey the contemporary position on critical components. We saw a rich set of application examples covering a terrific span of application and some very ingenious efforts of trying to make useful systems with an almost impoverished component framework, which is basically what we have. Some messages that stick in my mind, and these are entirely personal views. Martin said sources are leading detectors, and I found that, I said, this was very early in the conference. I thought, that's a good line. I'll watch to see if the conference bears that out. And at the end of the day, I'm not so sure that sources are leading detectors. Both of them seem to have a long way to go. Martin also said, they pointed to the transit time limitation in semiconductors. Well, that's a physical truth we can't escape. And it surprised me that, although we mentioned ballistic electronics, there wasn't very much about ballistic electronics in the conference. That really was surprising. And I thought that maybe we should think a little bit more about that. I know there are a few programs in the UK, a few supported programs. We saw a spectacular increment in multipliers and in Schottky detectors at Leeds. We saw amazing progress in the Terra Nova program on quantum cascade lasers. I mean, only 2 years ago, I remember an acknowledged expert in the field telling me the quantum cascade laser will not come below 1.9 gigahertz, terahertz. And now we're seeing 1.2, and we're seeing temperatures coming down. But the temperature is really still a residual drawback of that technique, and obviously that's getting a lot of attention. The compact source using the intercavity parametric scheme at St Andrews looked as though it was pretty good, looked as though it was producing quite practical power levels and could be made compact. In fact, it looked to me like it was an optical bench crying out for some engineering. Now, a few messages that stick. A milestone gained in TerraView's, to TerraView's advantage that their effort in pioneering terahertz now leading to application pool. I was very delighted to see that. I think it's high time to see application pool replacing technology push. And the next time I go to the dentist, I'm going to ask him about his deconvolving algorithm, because I thought that tickled me too much to forget. So that's a message that sticks. And the polymorphs of mannitol, well, it came right out of J.R.R. Tolkien until today. I'm glad to understand that a little bit better. Thank you very much. The implication of resonant terahertz biosensing, really taking this point very seriously now, that has a major possibility in assisting life science. And as we come out of the reductionist phase of biology and we see biology coming in to become a real physical science, then it's science like this, it's underpinning science like this that is going to make such a difference in that transformation of life science. The challenge is to have really compact, affordable, high dynamic range transceiver, something that looks like real electronics. And that's still quite some distance away. If we don't keep meeting like this and we don't have this type of exchange, it will be forever unattainable. So these are steps on the path towards that affordable compact source, something that looks like the semiconductor industry might be able to make it. Science is good, the technology has to fit the commerce to make that innovation cycle. So in conclusion, I think this conference gave ample support to the strategic decisions made in the EKTN board. I'll be very glad to carry that message back to them. There's still a lot more to do, Nigel, so you're far from being off the hook. I now have to say thanks to a few people. Terra Nova as a co-sponsor, thank you very much. It made a tremendous difference to the quality of what we could deliver. Many presenters prepared beautiful graphics, really wonderful quality of presentation throughout. The poster artists, similarly, and the exhibitors in the rooms, the adjacent rooms, all putting tremendous effort into making the conference a success. Organizing staff, Nigel and Samara, not so much a thin red line, but thin red dots. And the Royal Society staff, multimedia and catering, and very good, and clearly a mistake to give such good catering in the afternoon break because you're guaranteed to overrun. Also, the unknown party had the inspiration to place the conference in this marvelous building. Thank you for that. I heard it had its difficulties, but still it's a very nice venue, and I enjoyed coming here. And finally, the EKN thanks you all, members of the audience, for supporting this event with your presence. I hope you give us your feedback. You obviously know the EKN through the website and through Nigel's continual communication with you. Please give us your feedback and make the next one even better. Thank you very much.